What was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
Hello, weirdos out there in the weirdo land. How's everybody doing? It's live from Japer's living room.
It's like deja vu all over again.
This is the third fucking time we've tried to do this intro. Oh, by the way, it's 18 and older, and we've been drinking. We're all a little stressed out. We're an hour late, and I don't even know if we're on live anymore. I mean, this is I think our third or fourth attempt.
We got a thumbs up from the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, we checked it before we jumped on.
All right. We
That's
have a
why we
lot
went
to get to tonight.
right.
Vicky, how are you? You get the Spirit Award tonight. You are dressed up as what, a zombie skeleton?
It seems like I heard that somewhere before. Yeah, just a plain old skeleton is good.
Thank you for taking this seriously and dressing up tonight for the Halloween
Yes.
Weird Whatever podcast.
Well, you know, you are our fearless leader, and you did suggest that we wear costumes because it is the Halloween season, and I followed directions, unlike some people.
Yeah, you're right.
Half the podcast.
People, I'm looking at the chat room while you guys look pissed. Before, we're not pissed anymore. We are an hour late. Beckett is dressed like, I don't know, a
Douchebag.
a 1950s greaser douchebag.
This is the third time we've been able to call me a douchebag.
We have done that douchebag joke 3
know.
times tonight.
It's just as good.
Denny's, give it up for Denny's who figured out what the hell is going on. So, Denny's, what happened?
I didn't even figure out. So somehow we got to put something up to block these wires because a bunch of these wires got unplugged when we first started. So we had no audio because the audio got completely unplugged. All we had was our headphone audio. I think some of the I got to make sure we just cover those. But oh yeah, my camera they're saying it's like wigging out.
Yeah, it's totally freaking out.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I got to go through and check all these wires because there was like 2 tonight that were unplugged.
So
that
it's
shouldn't
now
have
it's
been.
now 2 Beckett's, right? Unfortunately, y'all, I think I'm
Double Beckett.
I think I got to punt on the Weird Whatever podcast tonight.
Unfortunately, there's just too many gremlins.
We're gonna have to start over and do this again, guys. I'm sorry.
It might just be the thing.
Well, it's just my camera, probably from us unplugging and frantically plugging stuff in to get it to work.
All right, we got to get that fixed, though. We can't have that blinking the whole time. If not, it's every comment will be, "Why is Denny's camera blinking?"
All right,
You just put mine on the wide shot.
All right. Let's just get into the podcast. It's definitely the demon, Vicky. I'm a believer now. I have demons. They're fucking my life up. I do want to make some social media announcements. If you want to follow the Weird Whatever podcast, please make sure you go to Jason KVJ on Instagram. Jason KVJ on Instagram. That will help us join the weird movement. Denny's, are you ready to start it off with some Denny's random facts? Get us
Yeah.
going? All right.
Let's do it. I apologize for my tile probably wigging out right now.
No,
It's getting-
it's looking
To me,
terrible.
it's interesting that
It's spooky looking.
from the studio to your house, never had a problem until we were going to actually finally show your video. And as a skeptic, like, it's kind of interesting, right? It's random.
It is true. We've had a immense amount of technical difficulties today.
It's been actually unprecedented how I mean things usually go pretty shitty, but this is at a fucking different level, my man. I'm not gonna lie.
It was weird too when I went to grab the footage initially when Vicky brought it. I couldn't even get it here, and when I got it to my house, I had a really easy time just extracting all the footage.
Yeah.
It took no effort. So another weird thing about.
So if we are gonna play the footage tonight, correct? Do we have the capability of doing that, or is it gonna be blinking? Because if it's blinking over the footage, this whole podcast really is a waste. Not to be negative.
I think I'm blinking because my camera got a little jostled.
Okay, yeah.
They were on the fly.
I like that.
So we are going to play the footage. We should be good. And then, sorry, Ariel, I just heard you drop an F-bomb.
Yep. So
Are we good?
bubblegum keeping this together at the moment till I go through and start tying them back up.
Okay, so Vicky, tell us about this footage that we're going to see tonight. For whatever reason, and I'm just kind of throwing this out there, I don't feel confident about playing it. But are we? Can I play this ghost footage or not? I mean, we got blinking.
Now you're blinking.
That's what I'm saying. The whole podcast was set around the whole footage, and here's my issue, just so you guys know. I can't have all these tiles blinking as we're playing our ghost footage.
Right.
We got enough people saying we're faking shit enough.
Right.
So that's where I don't know what's going on. I know that there's technical stuff going on, and I just know that there's blinking going on the tiles, and the whole point was to show the audience the ghost. So I kind of just feel like I'm flying blind is all.
Yeah.
So if we play the ghost footage, is it going to be blinking over it?
It shouldn't,
Okay.
but I mean,
No, look, we all switched.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go ahead and punt on this, guys. This is not good. It doesn't look good, and it's supposed to be a visual thing. It's supposed to be the...
well, you're gonna have Vicky narrate it, so we're gonna cut a video. Anywho, afterwards, we could put that up for the ghost footage.
Yeah, I just... Yep, I hear you. The whole... just the first 30 minutes was about the ghost footage, man.
I really wish I saw that audio was off.
Do you want to try to do the ghost footage? Let's go ahead and try it right now. Vicky, give me a 3, 2, 1, Ariel. 3, 2, 1, and are we playing it? Okay, Vicky, go ahead and start to tell
All
us
right,
what you
so
see.
basically you're going to focus on the bottom left of the video. I can't see it because you just pulled that other thing up. If you notice, you'll see Jason's blanket move, and then you will see something hold onto it as Jason pulls the blanket back up.
And do we have that on YouTube right now? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can see it, Beckett.
Yeah.
Now, Beckett, you have seen the footage before, being the skeptic over here. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know for whatever reason, but the first time I saw it, like I was like, oh, like not a big deal. Like there was like a little thing, but now that I'm watching it again, like it definitely looks like some kind of arm for sure.
So if you're looking at the footage right now, it's about a minute and a half long, and you see me kind of tussle around the blanket. Correct, Vicky?
Correct. Well, it's you have a claim that something constantly yanks you out of your sleep. This
Yes.
actually confirms it because whatever it is pulls that blanket from you in order to wake you up. And then as you pull it up towards you, this thing is holding on with 2 hands and moves with you as you pull the blanket up.
Now, I think the naysayers are going to say, oh, we want to see a face and a... To me, this is so compelling because we know we're not faking it,
Right.
and we actually see something grab my... It's not like a legit detailed arm,
Right.
but it is something that looks like a long thing grabbing my blanket as I'm tussling around
Right.
with it.
Now, if you are to look at it on a clear screen, you do initially see what looks like a translucent hand is the first thing that you notice in the blanket move. Then it turns into the thing that's holding on with both of its hands. As you are tugging the blanket, it is moving with you. And you can see 2 little hands, a small body, and you can actually see the 2 legs if you look closely.
Can you talk a little bit about clip 2?
Clip 2, you try to go back to sleep. It's just a little bit later, not much later, like a minute or so, and you see something rise up from your midsection. You reach out. It looks like you're touching it, actually, if you watch it. And then this thing, it looks like the head comes up, and then it shifts, and then it sets back and sits on the blanket. And there's also something in between, but because you did it as 2 separate clips, you don't see the action that happens in between. Because when you see the first thing, pull your blanket, it holds on to it, and it goes with you. If you watch it as one continuous clip, whatever that thing is that's holding on actually comes and lays down next to you. And you can see that on the film, but because making it 2 clips instead of the 1, you would have to make it 1 continuous. It would be a couple minutes long.
I hear it just was going to be too long of a clip.
Right. But you actually see this thing, once it lets go of your blanket, it lays down next to you.
So the chat room, if you're watching, could you see what we're talking about? How did that link up? Let us know in the comment section. To me, out of the 2 clips, the most compelling is when I am tossing and turning, and I see that long entity pull the blanket off. That's what I thought was pretty
Right.
fascinating.
And I know as you would say, the naysayers are going to say that was your leg that moves it, but you clearly see that translucent thing. And like I said, if you look at it on a really clear resolution TV or something like that, you can see it looks like a hand. And then it turns into the 2 hands in the body.
The second clip where it kind of comes out of my stomach, it looks like it's my leg moving, but it's not my leg. The reason why I know it's not my leg, because my leg looks about 3.5 to 4 feet long. That's not my leg.
Your leg would have to been, like, if you look at it on a scale, there's no way that that's your leg. Plus, again, if you look at it on a clear TV or a screen that has a higher resolution, you are going to see it almost looks animal-like.
It does.
But the first thing that pops up, though, it's more looks like a face, and then it turns into more of an animal-like.
I really like the footage, or I love the footage because we've been friends for so long. We've done EVPs, we've done investigations, and that is the most compelling because I really am tossing and turning. Right. I really am struggling to sleep, and there is something tug-of-warring with me on the blanket.
Exactly what you say. Now, people also need to realize that we started those cameras about 6 p.m. that night. They ran all through the weird and whatever while they were investigating upstairs, and they stayed running. So the people who are going to say, well, maybe it's a reflection from a TV or something like that. Happens like at 2:11. If there were any reflections from any TVs, we would have seen it prior to this. Literally, there is nothing going on until this event.
Yeah, there's no TV on. I think I went to bed without the TV on to get the good footage.
So, again, like the only other thing that happens, we had 4 cameras. The only other thing that happens is we had a camera in your spare bedroom, and periodically through the night, that camera would move, like somebody took it and went like this. I didn't give you that footage. I mean, you still have the DVR. That is much harder to say that was paranormal because for all anybody knows, somebody's standing behind there, a physical person standing behind and moving the camera. But that was the only noteworthy thing that happened was the other room. That camera, literally, it was like somebody was taking it and flipping it back and forth like this.
Now, the chat room's going off. People are having their opinions on the video here. A lot of people are loving the footage. One of your critics, Haunted Beard Dan, as you know, always testing the boundaries of the ghost level.
We were respecting each other this morning in the KVJ chat,
and he does have a good point because this is what people are going to bang us with is what's with the potato quality? Why is it such a... Because, Vicky, you got some old-ass equipment. Me and Denny's... It's been a struggle.
The camera that was set up in your bedroom was the poorest quality of the cameras that we had. I didn't do the setup. If you remember, I was basically telling other people how to set up the equipment that night because I was getting ready to do the show. And again, it was a crapshoot to know which room we were going to actually pick something up on. It just happens that particular camera was not one of our better ones. The footage in your spare bedroom's clear as a bell. Everything that we had going on downstairs is all clear because you never turn the lights off. So we have extra clear video down here because you never turn the lights off.
FP&L, your best customer.
So those lights stayed on all night.
And I get it. I mean, I am prepared for all of the bullshit and all of the love and the in-between of the ghost footage.
And to be honest, since 2007, I have such a small percentage of actual footage that was noteworthy. I mean, we did it because we were thinking, okay, let's go ahead just in case. The chances of actually catching something on video are so slim that it hasn't been worth me digging into my pocket to purchase any other equipment because I'm not going to get a whole lot.
I'll donate to the cause.
Okay.
That was actually my question. So you made an exception to release the video.
Right.
How does this compare to through your whole track record and your career of this?
This is the only third video that I would say is noteworthy since 2007. You have to know that on average, I probably do 2 investigations a month, 12 months a year since 2007. The first video that we got was actually, we used even more antiquated equipment. We had a VCR, and we had the camera set up to the VCR, so it's actually on tape. And we were in a house, and you see this full body shadow man pacing in the foyer. But what you can't see is that he's actually walking through the walls and coming back and forth. He's very tall. He almost looks like Abraham Lincoln, who's wearing a hat. And he has, like, you see when his legs actually separate as he's pacing. So that still hands down is the best video we've ever captured. Mm-hmm. We also had an elderly woman over on the other coast who lived in an assisted living facility. And one of her claims is that she would see snakes floating in the air. And we're thinking, okay, she's, going through dementia. She's in the first stages. We went and we set up our equipment. At that time, we had our computer that we called Bertha, and we had our camera set up, and we're looking directly at the client as she's talking to us. We see nothing. We glance down at the screen and we see thick ecto that is surrounding her just like snakes. So I could see, if she could physically see what we could see on the camera, it did. It looked like floating snakes.
Couple comments in the chat room. Want to get some feedback from them. They're a big part of the podcast. You've got someone like a Meredith who says she can totally see it. Ariella in the chat room says it looks like a tiny alien. Then you've got a Stephanie L kind of chiming in. Ghosts hate 1080p. I think she's throwing a little dig there. And then she says it was crappy, a crappy camera. It looks good, but the quality isn't great. Yeah, I mean, the quality isn't great. We need to probably get away from VCR stuff, I think, in the future.
Well, that wasn't a VCR for that one, but it was the
just
DVR.
Ever. Okay. All right, cool.
And what I did have, if you had actually gone through and you had stayed at the hotel, I did have an IR emitter to put more of that light in the room to assist the camera. And like I said, it just happened that your room had the poorest quality. If you go, you guys have the DVR. If you clicked on the other cameras, they were all clear as a bell. That just happened to be the camera that was hooked up that night in that room.
So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to take this footage. We're going to have Vicky do a voiceover and explain to the audience. We're going to upload it to YouTube just of the footage and go ahead, do what you will with it. Good or bad, Vicky, we're prepared for all of it. Fuck the haters. And stop arguing with the haters in the chat room because there's
but I love it because they get very uncomfortable.
There's fake haters in the KVJ chat room. They have like
I know,
9 different profiles.
I know one of them.
We boot them out and then they come back with a new profile because they're such dicks. Such dicks back here.
And I understand.
They're shapeshifters.
Because honestly, if I were watching that video, I would be critiquing it the same way these people are, because I do it all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I never release video, is because I know there's people who are even experts in the field that are looking at it thinking, oh, they did this, that, and the other. But the only thing I can say, anybody wants to come in, you want to bring in a Bible, you want to bring in a judge, you want me to swear in a court of law, we did not alter that video. That is what we caught that night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 80% of our audience believes us. And then there's 20% who don't like ghost stuff, or who don't like me, or don't like the KVJ show. They're going to just go in on us no matter what. And then there's people who just don't like psychics and ghost stuff. And I totally get it. You should question everything. I think that's a great thing. We have the footage finally. I want to thank Vicky for letting me put that out there. I know it's not in your comfort zone. I think it's great footage. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for a podcast. I want to thank Denny's, who worked tirelessly to get that footage off. That ancient old ass dinosaur fucking shit. No offense,
Hey.
Vicky. No offense.
That's like an upgrade from what we used to have.
I mean, my gosh, Vicky.
It was like
Well, again, it wasn't
VGA
worth
kid.
everything we do. As far as Point Paranormal is free. It comes out of our pocket. We travel throughout the state. We've gone all the way to Jacksonville. We've gone all the way, outside of Tallahassee. It all comes from our pocket. We do not charge for gas. We don't charge for tolls. We don't charge for any of this. So anything I have came out of our pockets. And everybody knows I'm a school teacher, and those pockets are very shallow. They are not deep.
No, we appreciate it. We love it. I stand by the footage. I think it's great. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Kiss my fat Italian ass. If you don't believe it, we know what's real. That's what's up, weirdos. All right, Denny, I am so sorry to cut you off about your facts.
Oh, that's cool.
So much calamity going on in the podcast. This podcast has been the equivalent to a series finale of a Breaking Bad episode. Just fucking...
There's a path to destruction.
Do you get that reference? Does that reference make sense?
I didn't watch Breaking Bad. I watched some of it.
Damn, Beckett.
I've got thrown out like 10 times.
Get out of my house, Becky.
Well, I'll go with you because I didn't see it either.
I do have a quick question. So, in all seriousness, do spirits, like, because we've been having technical difficulties, it could be YouTube, it could be whatever. Do spirits actually mess with those kind of things? Because when I think of EVP and those kind of things, like, Denny's and I talk about random facts, and him and I, although we're the skeptics, we believe in waves and stuff like that, and energy, and
Right.
they do mess with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because they're working on their own frequency. And sometimes it's easier for them to manipulate electronics than it is to manipulate a human. So there's a combination. I mean, yeah, I'm going to go ahead with this one and just say it was a YouTube issue.
Yep.
But it's not out of the realm of possibility that something did not want this show to go on tonight.
Right.
It's a possibility because
Because it was like one after another. We got it going, then it wasn't back up, then we got it going again. It wasn't connected.
We have 2 producers. We've done this tons of times, never had a problem. This is, one of the things that I was asking about your history, like, as long as I've known you, Jaybird's known you way longer, like, you seem pretty freaked out about the spirit, right?
Right.
So
If I were to guess any spirit that were messing with us in regards to airing this, I would say it was my protective spirits that didn't want it to go on the air.
Oh, interesting.
Not the thing, because whatever is on that video, it wants the attention.
thirsty,
It wants to be there.
thirsty bitch.
Of course, Jaybird's got a thirsty spirit.
Game recognizes game, motherfucker. That was awful. It was an hour waiting. It got silent in here. I'm just so fucking mad.
Oh, you told me you weren't.
Oh, Vicky, you're a
Liar.
psychic. You know. Of course
I know.
I'm lying. No, I wasn't yelling or anything. I was.
No, you were quiet. That was
It's just
scary.
frustrating.
It's worse for me to be quiet than to yell.
Yeah, you're scary when you're quiet.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, look, the audience agrees with me. Look at that.
I'm scary when I'm quiet
Yeah,
because I'm never quiet.
exactly.
I gotta learn to shut the fuck up more, honestly.
It's like when the kids are upstairs and they're not making a sound, that's when you worry.
You're like, uh-oh.
Well, I just know we've been wanting to do this podcast for so long. We're all so ginned up for this podcast, and the weirdest shit was going down. It was like the demon was fucking with us,
Yeah.
or the ghost, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, it was 3 things that have never happened before.
Right.
So, and all in the
Oh,
same, like, run.
3. Actually, 3 is a demonic number.
That's it,
So
yeah,
there you go.
said that.
Very good.
But remember, I am not publicly saying that what we're dealing with is demonic. I'm saying that it is not human. You can clearly see the video and see that that is not a human form. Most human spirits do not present themselves in forms like that. They may change their appearance slightly, but it is still a human appearance, but not something like that.
I agree with you. I definitely don't think it's demonic. I really don't. I'm just going with my own intuition. And by the way, intuition is going to be a topic we're going to bring up tonight. But my own intuition doesn't say it's a demon. It really doesn't. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I agree with you. I think it's something that is not, you know.
There's a lot of things that fall under the umbrella of being not human.
For sure.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be of a demonic. I've talked about nature spirits before. They're not human, but they're not demons either.
Denny's, I apologize. We keep on just teasing you about these Denny's random facts. And arguably, it's the best segment. It tests very high.
All right.
Denny's hates compliments, by the way. So I think we have to give him a compliment tonight.
And furthermore about the ghost. No, I'm just kidding. Let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
So what do you guys think about all these DNA tests going around? I mean,
Love
they're
'em.
kind of like jacking up everyone's lives, right?
Well, the reason why I like him, not for the whole, oh, you're not my dad, not that shit. I like the fact that these murderers who committed crimes back in the 60s and 70s are going to bed at night scared to death thinking, shit, every knock on the door could be the cops saying, you're going down, buddy.
Totally.
Well, I guess this would be a case of it being good. A woman discovered that her hairstylist, who she had been going to for over 6 years, was actually her biological brother, according to a test. She got the results back, and when she got the picture back, she's like, that's my hairstylist. Funny enough is in Calgary, he's 15 years older. They confronted the dad about, hey, what's up? I didn't know. And it was from a previous hookup he had before he got married 15 years prior.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Pretty random. He didn't even know he had a kid, and they obviously, now they get, Chinese food weekly.
Now, before we go on for the Denny's Random Facts, Vicky, our educator, grades Denny's on a very now even harsher scale.
Oh, yeah, I'm
than
supposed to be harder.
ever before because we had an email last week trying to protect our sweet Denny's. Oh, no, we don't protect Denny's.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
B minus.
B
Nice,
minus.
nice.
Damn.
That's a passing score.
It's a
Definitely.
passing score, but
Definitely.
is it going to win you honorable honors?
It will not give me honors. So what do you think about this? There is a website called Long Player. It's a 1,000-year-long musical composition It has been playing since the 31st of December, 1999, and will continue to 2,999. I'm going to play a clip of it. Let me know if you guys think this is catchy. We've been having dodgy electronics today, so I pray it works. You can actually, it's tuned in right now. It just connected live. So it's what's currently playing. This will continue till $29.99. Weird, right?
Yeah.
You can send them money if you want.
Who's doing it?
Just a private group decided to, so if you click on their website, which is kind of eerie, I'll turn this off. If you click on their website,
it's crushing.
All they want is
we just
donations.
went from 51 people to 42. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though, right?
Vicky?
Weird. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I'll give it the same B-.
You feel like he kind of
nice.
hid behind
it's-
his sound effect, kind of his
he's
clip.
just trying
Well,
to
I
bring
brought
the
an
show,
example.
The Flash, you know?
Yeah, that was the razzle and the dazzle. It's just we caught a bad part of the song out of the the long ass track.
I think you could add to the fact that it's probably the longest song in the Guinness Book of
it
World
will
Records.
be. Yeah,
It's
been
not
going
already?
since- it must be. Yeah.
It's got to be, right?
Jeez. Yeah, it's still got a long time to go though.
Yeah.
Many a moon.
We just listened to an excerpt of the longest song ever.
you
to
guys
exist.
did.
We're
It's a
making
B
history.
plus. Don't you think that's a B plus?
No, B-.
Okay.
The fact that Beckett was even trying to get some
I
points
know.
for
That's pitiful.
Honestly, since we're doing a little harder, I'd knock him down to C plus.
C plus, huh?
All right, Denny's, give us some more.
Well, so what do you guys think about this? Everybody loves typing on their phones and sending text messages and whatnot to each other. Have you guys ever thought about the Chinese language and how they text each other? When cell phones were devised, unfortunately, the Chinese language in their dictionaries includes about 56,000 characters. So there's no way you could put that on a phone. So what they had to do was create their own language called Wubi, W-U-B-I. And it's a QWERTY keyboard language based on just sounds. Kind of how the English language works, where it's k, t, p. You can actually just type in those sounds, and then the computer automatically figures out the word you're trying to do based on the sounds. And that's how all of their texting works in China. How insane is that?
Why didn't they just make one that had the capacity to do the 50-some things? That seemed like it would be easier.
56,000 characters. We have an alphabet of 26 letters.
You could have pressed the button more than once.
I mean, jeez. They had to create a whole different texting service just because they just don't have the ability to.
No,
put
it's
that.
interesting. Like, how do you sext if you're a Chinese person?
Oh, you gotta make a lot of sounds.
Right?
That's how it works.
When you sext Beckett, do you ever send a voice memo like, yeah, you like this
No.
shit? No, you never do the voice thing?
No, I get too shy.
Never show a face, never send a voice memo.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
It's always way easier to hide behind the phone because you're like way more brave, right? It's like having a couple drinks, right? Like you're a little bit more brave.
Do you proofread your sex messages? 'Cause
No.
You got to, man.
What do you mean proofread?
You got to make sure you look. All of a sudden, you're.
What if it changes something to
No,
fist?
the word duck has happened on my phone a lot.
Yeah, I want to duck
Yeah.
the stuff out of you.
Yes,
oh,
exactly.
It's so hot, Beckett.
Exactly.
You got to proofread your shit. I remember the girl was like, I want you to rub my boons. I'm like, rub your boons? Like, what do you mean rub your boons? Oh, I meant boobs.
Yeah, it is
gotta-
distracting when
you
you're in the
gotta
moment.
proofread
Yeah,
it.
it's true.
Have you guys ever gotten lazy and like did voice to text texting?
Oh, yeah.
That's how you do it. That's
When you're
so
driving, especially, you got to.
funny. What are you saying?
You're driving? Do you have highway boners?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a natural part of life, man.
it allows me to drive in the HOV
You're,
lane.
you're sexting and driving. Okay.
Why not?
All right, our speaker blew out.
I've been trying to lean back on the laugh.
So there'll be times you'll be driving in the car and you're talking with
You're
the
like,
chick.
what are you wearing?
Sometimes you can't choose when the girl wants to sex. Like
You love sexting. You love it.
You're
does
that
it?
you're that busy.
Some
Your
people
schedule.
Some people don't like it, man.
I like it as foreplay. I think it's the best foreplay ever.
You're like a 7:30 a.m. texting. I can see you
Doesn't
getting.
matter what time.
I can see you getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and running on the ocean, lifting mountains, and then like, it's like 7 a.m. You're so full of energy with that morning boner.
That's right.
Yeah, all right.
Your testosterone is the highest in the morning. So that's why morning sex and men are usually really turned on in the morning because your testosterone's the highest.
That's when. That's That's when Beckett likes to wreck it in the morning.
I'll wreck it any time. I'm just
Beckett wreck it. I love
We
it.
gotta stop this
right.
horrific conversation. All right. Dennis, give us a couple more, please.
So
Make us feel clean again.
I'll try to take it in a different direction here. So, how do you think these cosmetic procedures are kind of going over the line? Because you think about it. Think about how many women now are getting boob reductions because back in the 90s, giant boobs were in. And now they're kind of like, darn, my back hurts, you know?
Virginia being one of them.
Totally. Well, so what do you think about this one? And this transplant became popular in the last 2 years. And you guys will see why. They are now doing beard transplants for if you have a weak beard.
Here, I have a weak ass beard.
your beard's great.
Oh, Beckett. I'd fucking hug you if we weren't online right now, but thank you.
What's wrong with your beard?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll have a couple of drinks. We can go over the insecurities of my beard later.
Okay.
The procedure takes an entire day. It costs about $10,000. And they remove hair strands and follicles intact from other body parts. And they make your beard look full AF.
Weak ass beard is a real condition, Vicky. Some guys have beard insecurity.
To the point now where you can get a beard transplant.
I hate to know where area they take the other
That's
hair.
what I was
you
thinking.
know.
You know where it's
Yeah.
coming
What
from.
if it's too?
Man.
Then
So-
it's too curly.
According to the article, a lot of it they said was back hair, like hair, little tiny short hairs that grow. It's only more to fill out your beard.
I'm going to ask the audience a question. So, what would be grosser if a beard transplant was butthole hair or nard/peen hair? 3, 2, 1.
So
It's unanimous.
That's great.
my friend would probably be bummed if he heard I told this story. But check,
Tell it.
he got into a car accident.
It's not me, is it?
No. So Jaybird. No, so he got into a car accident and he hit his steering wheel. His airbag didn't go off, and he hit his steering wheel and he bit through his bottom lip, right? And it kind of jacked up his face a little bit. Well, so to fix it, the only skin that's similar on your body, unfortunately, is like your taint. So they had to replace the skin here with like ball hair.
Oh my
ball
God.
skin.
He's
yeah.
got taint lips.
This whole part is all taint.
How's it look?
So, all I keep,
You can't tell. but-
every other comment I'm getting, Vicky looks uneasy.
No, I'm gross to hell.
They had to use different sections because they can't just take a whole wad out of a spot. So they had to make multiple incisions and get taint and then
All
stitch it
right.
together like Frankenstein.
I'm just worried about the stitches there.
You can't.
you'd be so
I'm
bummed.
not taint beehole talk.
So he's a little tainted now.
He's got tainted love.
Beckett's drinking whiskey.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
He is just throwing the one-liners out left and right. I love it.
You can tell.
It's like we're at a roast right now. He's gonna do a spit take.
Yeah.
All right, give us one more, Dennis. You're on fucking fire.
All right. Yeah, you guys are drinking. I love it. Let's see. Here, this is pretty funny. In 2014, the beard of the golden mask of Tutankhamun, he was an Egyptian prince.
Dennis, we all know. You have to
all right, you're
mansplain. Are you mansplaining to him, homie?
Egyptian, yeah, you're right. Well, so anyway, one of the museum employees was cleaning his beard, and he unfortunately broke it off. And in an attempt to cover it up, 8 other employees all got together and devised a scheme to glue this back on and to destroy all the surveillance footage. Well, about a couple months later, a esteemed guy came in to inspect this great discovery, because it's one of the most important discoveries in Egyptian history, and noticed right away that it had been broken and re-glued together with super glue. So they took all of them to court, and they actually have a trial scheduled for, in 2016, the 8 employees went to court. 5 of them got released, and 3 of them, I think, went to prison for literally ruining this thing.
Vicky, grade?
I kind of like that one, actually.
It's hilarious because they
Yeah.
tried to cover it up.
Yeah, and they got caught.
What do you give him?
A-.
What about the taint story?
Oh, F.
F?
Oh, wow.
F for the, I give you an A for the taint story.
Yeah, I mean-
I found it quite interesting, to be quite honest with
Just
you.
know if you have to replace any sort of lip skin, you just remember where that's coming from. They will use it.
Well, Denny's, I thought you did a great job with your random facts. Thank
Well,
you
thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Some cool stuff I want to get to. Does anybody remember when you would go shopping during Halloween time, you'd see this orange spooky tape? It was all of haunted sounds and cries. It was the most generic haunted cassette tape. you would see, and everybody back in the 80s and 90s had it. It had an orange little piece of tape on the front. Do you know what I'm talking about, Vicky?
Yeah, and it always had one real song on it. It always had Monster Mash on it somewhere.
Did it?
Yeah.
So I used to go to bed at night to this shit. I want you to hear a little bit of what I'd go to bed to. As a kid, I can't imagine why I'm figgity fucked with my
Yeah,
sleep.
this is going to be that last little piece of the puzzle we need to figure you out,
Yeah,
right?
so 9-year-old Jay Bird, you can start playing at Denny's, crawling into bed. Oh yeah, let me put this on. This will set me at ease. Fucking horrifying. Now that's the music, Beckett. What do you think? Doesn't scare you? Oh, Beckett's got some whiskey muscles all of a sudden.
You did this during Halloween or year round?
I would usually probably start playing it around Halloween and love it. It would go into November. It would go into December. I loved creepy shit. Would that freak you out as a 10-year-old? This?
Probably.
Really?
Yeah, it would annoy me a little more than it would freak me out, but it would definitely freak me out a little
Then
bit.
you got something like this. Listen.
Is this part 2?
Yeah. Mom, I don't know. I just couldn't sleep last night. Fucking horrifying. If you know what I'm talking about in the chat room, please let me know. Or if you're saying I have no idea what you're talking about, Bird, let me know that as
This
well.
is probably why you have spirits, because you were like so open to it, right? Like when you say that, like you've said that before, right?
So yeah, when I'd go to the library, the first thing I would do is go to the haunted monster section and just read these books. To Beckett's question, you can invite it in if you're so into it.
Well, I mean, I was interested in it too, and I never, I don't feel I've ever been bothered by spirits because I keep them at bay. I tune in when I need to tune in and turn off when I need to turn off.
Do you remember that tape, that cassette tape?
I don't.
Really?
I played it one Halloween and it annoyed me so much that I had to turn it because I was, handing out candy.
Yeah.
And I turned it off and put on the movie Halloween instead.
Hissing on a cassette tape, kind of a creepy sound.
Mm-hmm.
Helicopters at night, creepy sound. Beckett.
Oh yeah, is that on the tape too? Helicopters at night.
No, I'm just asking you things that are creepy at night. How about this, Denny's? A knock at 1 a.m.
Pizza.
Nah, I wish. Tell me a pizza place that will deliver at 1 a.m.
No, that happened to me actually because the house where I used to live, there was a door in my bedroom because it used to be the family room and I converted it to my room. So there was that door that you pulled up on and then there was the front door. And one night, literally like right before the pizza place closed, so it was somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, a huge loud knock on the door, which is literally this far from my head. Freaked me out. They were delivering pizza. They had the wrong address. And it was next door. Yeah, really
Pizza!
loud.
Open up!
Exactly. And it was literally this far from my head.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Who wants pizza? Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right.
damn! All Beckett's editions.
Beckett's ready to get nasty tonight. Okay, Beckett. You need
I'm going to use that talk to text on the way home.
There goes the left speaker.
Here, moan for me.
Let me see here. We got a lot of emails, Vicky. People wanted to ask you some questions. People also just had some observations. I'm stalling right now because the fucking internet is really struggling tonight. Are you guys struggling with your internet on your phones?
I'm not on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was earlier.
I know you were, Denny.
Yes.
So, have you guys ever heard of this? It's not an email. It's something I want to talk about. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It's an email. It's the 1997 syndicated talk show Art Bell. Anybody ever hear of Art Bell?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
This is the email from Ryan. He lives in Wichita. He goes, have you guys ever heard the audio of this frantic guy who calls into a radio show? I think it was the Art Bell show. I did some research. It is. He was a type of whistleblower when he comes on the air and talks about aliens. After he talks, he gets knocked off the phone as he's giving very specific details. It's really creepy to listen to. I was wondering if you guys think it was real or not. You should play it. We have the clip right here. I want you guys to listen in the chat room, here in the studio. Does this sound like this person's faking, or is this a real phone call?
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
a former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago. They're gonna, they'll triangulate on this position really, really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. I started getting...
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government or...
And then it ends. All right, now, it's a radio person. Clearly, they have something to gain, an agenda, much like ourselves. That's what we get called out on. Oh, ghost footage. Oh, and you're dropping it the night before Halloween. You topical dicks. That's the kind of stuff we're going to hear, Vicky.
Yeah,
But-
we've had this footage for over a month.
The
but whatever.
the real people know.
Yeah.
But you hear a call like that, very
Yeah.
creepy, but is it believable enough? I have my opinion. I'm going to save it for last. Let's start with Vicky.
It sounds like he's running. Sounds like he's moving as he's talking. So it's either, I mean, I got to go between either it's really real or he's mentally ill because he mentions that he was, let go on a medical discharge, or he's just a really good actor, one or the other. But it does sound like he's moving as he's doing it.
All right.
Like he's running.
All right, final answer, fake or real? No inconclusive. You only get one of the two.
Real.
Mr. Beckett, with your tight black Danny Zuko looking shirt.
It's part of my costume. I don't know. I'm pretty skeptical on this one. I think that if someone works at Area 51, they're probably a smart person, right? And they have a security clearance, all that. And it seemed like he wasn't able, if I knew I was going to call into a show and I was going to try and give some facts, like even if I was upset or I was scared, I would know boom, 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 boom. Like he kind of rambled. It was kind of nonsensical. Wouldn't you agree?
But I think part of the reason why is like I mentioned, it seems like he's running. It seems like he's moving. I know I've had things happen to me, and I was in the process of getting quickly away from the situation, and I sound just like that. Mm-hmm. So, and I wasn't necessarily that coherent in giving all the facts as I was removing myself from the area. So, I mean,
my other question on that clip: what does extra dimensional mean? Didn't he say extra dimensional?
He did.
What does that mean? I mean, I know
not from our
three-dimensional.
dimension, I
Yeah,
guess.
so there's different kind of shape-shifting stuff that people believe that are part alien. Am I right on that, Vicky? There's definitely a shape-shifting community. It's a lower percentage. Now, then you have your regular aliens that are just typical entities or species from another planet.
Right.
But when you got that kind of dimensional thing, they start to talk about that shape-shifting world for a lot of that stuff.
Got it.
Denny's awfully quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very convincing. Like Vicky said, it does sound like a fantastic actor. My only concern would be that if I was really trying to run and spread some news, or if I was trying to do something that would bring awareness to me being attacked by people, I would try to get out some news that I know could absolutely, like, damn them, or, like, what they don't want out, So if I called a radio station because I felt like somebody was pursuing me, and I wanted it on record, my voice on air, knowing that if I got gunned down or somebody kidnapped me or something, that it would all happen on air, I would, like you said, I would kind of I'd be like, I just want to let you guys know this. These guys are part of this division. They're coming after me now because I saw this, this, and this. Just let the people know if I die, it's because of that. I would have a concise kind of message. I know that you could be scrambled, and not everybody handles situations the same.
Just to give everybody a timestamp reference on that, I said it before, but I was kind of stumbling with that. It's 1997. It was the Art Bell show. Now, I've done some research on this, and here's the skinny on this story. Apparently, the guy that made that phone call called in years later and said he was faking it. But with that said, a lot of people said that wasn't the same guy, and of course, you would plant somebody to say you're faking it to do. I think I thought it sounded not good. I didn't think it was that good of acting. I thought the stumbling. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. Why are you calling a radio show?
Well, that's it.
on the run. Why are you not? But if it's 1997, let's go back to 1997.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. We had no cell phones. If you did, it was 9 feet long. Video cameras were pretty much just getting in the forefront, where I feel like everybody had one in the late 90s. People already had them, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of, by the late 90s, it would be an average thing that everyone would have one at that point, right?
Yeah, handy cam.
A handy cam for sure.
Yeah.
Except obviously me, since I'm so behind on technology.
Well, no, you had one. It was just from 1968. I'm just kidding. Vicky. I do, just to give you a heads up, Ariel, I'd like to end the podcast when we put the song on. Let's put the ghost footage back up and end it with that. I love it. How are you doing, Ariel? I like your Indiana Jones hat.
Is there any dating updates?
Any dating updates?
I haven't been lurking through your Instagram yet.
Okay, all right. Well, are you still available for a... If you want to take out our lovely Ariel, she is awesome. She is 26. She loves cheese? No, you hate cheese.
I don't hate cheese. I can't.
You like cheese, you can't eat cheese. Okay, all right. And your favorite animal is?
A cheetah.
Cheetah. We love it. All right. Send us the emails and the comments at Jason KVJ.
Yeah, you remember those old Nokia phones that were really big? They had the antenna, like the big famous classic ones.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
came out in 95.
Wow.
So 97 was the one that became the smaller version that a lot of people got, where you buy the phone and you get like 2 extra lines or whatever.
Yeah.
So those were pretty common too, but those weren't even released till 97. So
Yeah.
that would be kind of like the technology you're rolling with back
Yeah,
then.
so different time in 97. You could get away with shit too in 97. You could
It's
fake
true.
shit even. Well, I don't know. Could you fake shit? In a sense, yes. In a sense, no. You could fake shit easier today, but you get a lot more people fact checking. Back then, you could fake shit easier, and no one's going to fact check you because there wasn't that much technology.
I often contemplate this internally, but I wonder if crime is easier now or more difficult now than it was. Because there's a lot of times where crime seems easier in the past. You could leave a state border and the cops weren't allowed to chase you outside their own jurisdiction of their state. So you could evade the cops, especially if you robbed a bank near the perimeter of a state. So I mean, stuff like that is easy, but you're putting a lot of work in. Now you can rob banks by using applications or by tricking people into scanning stuff. Yeah, it's a simpler, but at the same time, you have way more encryption. You have way more companies designed solely to stop that type of exploitation.
I think the answer to that question is yes and no. I think certain crimes are going to be way harder to commit now. I think murder is tougher to commit now than any time in human history, just
That's a good
because
Yeah, absolutely.
there's cameras everywhere. Not to say you can't still murder people without the cameras, but think about it. Ever since I watched that one show, See No Evil, there are cameras everywhere. And if there's not a camera at the murder scene, there's going to be a camera where you bought something an hour before, and they can link up your car to where you're coming out of the crime scene. It's crazy what they can do with technology now on that level.
And we mentioned him before, but like in when Bundy was on his spree, if the different agencies had been able to have a computer and communicate with each other, they would have been on him a lot faster.
Well, I always go with the Polly Klaas story. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this case. Back in the mid to late 90s, there was a girl named Polly Klaas out in California. She was having a slumber party with 2 of her friends, and this madman breaks into her house, kidnaps her. He comes in there with a knife and says, "Which one of you live here? If anyone else screams, I'm going to kill both of you." He kidnaps Polly Klaas. He drives her out to the woods. He ties her up. She's still alive, tied to a tree. He leaves the scene. He gets pulled over for a traffic violation. When he gets pulled over, nothing comes up how this guy was a former criminal, former sex offender, all that stuff. So all they have in their system is just these, he's got nothing wrong on a traffic violation. They let him go. The cops let him go. He turns around and goes back and kills her. Technology. So that case right there changed a lot of laws across the country. When you get pulled over now, they run not only a traffic check, they run a criminal background check. And it's that case right there. The Polly Klaas, very sad story, but to your point, technology from 1997, probably around that time that case happened. I'd say 96, 97. If technology would have been, where it needed to be, you could have probably possibly saved her.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, so Suits, he subscribes to this channel because he loves cruise ships so much. It's a channel that just has cameras set up. I guess they hire companies to put them up. Whatever. So there's one that it was pretty hilarious. So this is why you just never know who's watching you, because cameras that aren't even designed to be watching you somehow will get you. Because he showed me one of his cameras that he saw, and he saw this happen live. It was on top of one of the hotels. They let him install it there so they could see the cruise ships coming to port. There was a woman standing in line that had a wedgie, and she was trying to pick it, and her husband went to go lean back to help her, and he falls over, and she falls over him. And it's all on this live stream camera for everybody getting off of the cruise ship. And they're off to the side. They probably have no idea they've been recorded doing that.
I have somebody that I know. They showed me this footage, and it would go viral. And I told them, this would go viral. You have to send it. And they're too embarrassed. They're walking out of their house. They trip and fall, and the microphone is really loud on the camera. So as they trip and fall, you hear them grunt, and then as they fall, they let out the biggest fart. And it would go viral. This would, if they would give it to me, we could make it go viral. They're just too embarrassed to do it. There's cameras everywhere, man.
Oh yeah, those doorstep cameras catch everybody doing all sorts of
trying to bring you down.
Yeah, just watch out, because this is across the street and diagonal. You would have no idea. It's made to telescope.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, just watch out. People getting busted at the drive. They go and pay the tolls. The toll cameras are busting people too.
Here's a topic I don't want to spend too much time on because we are running out of time, but it's I want to get people mad for the day type of thing. Someone sent me the email, Jaybird, did you see this bullshit? Some school is charging money to airbrush students' pictures. Isn't this out of line? As a parent, I was super offended when I read this. Children should celebrate their blemishes, not delete or airbrush them. Please talk about this in the podcast. We are losing our way as a society if we start asking kids to airbrush their blemishes out of photos. Deb from Wellington. People are outraged from this story, but I do get it. I don't think you should be airbrushing children. I'm sorry.
What's the age of the children?
I believe it was in elementary school.
Oh, yeah. They always airbrush your graduation pictures. They always do a little retouch.
Not 1995.
I'm down for a retouch.
They did mine, and that was back in '84.
Well,
so
I think
don't know what school you went to.
I went to Gardens 95, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Olin Mills should have done it back then.
They did not airbrush I can tell you this right now. They didn't airbrush me.
Yeah.
But, so, okay, you have a 10-year-old kid that has acne. You love your kid. You don't ask for any kind of airbrushing. You come back, they come back with the photos. Your kid has no acne in the picture. They airbrush it without you saying anything. Are you mad?
I would be. My kid probably wouldn't be, but I would be.
Are you mad, Beckett? Your kid? Think about it. Get there mentally. You have a kid. She's 9. Her name's Penelope.
Listen, if my daughter had a big blemish on the day that's picture day and she's like really upset about it, am I going to be mad that they airbrushed a pimple out? No.
Without your consent?
Maybe without my consent. I don't know. It makes my daughter feel good. Like, that's really, I'm not a parent, but I know how I feel about my dog. And like, if I'm a parent, I want the best for my kid. I want her to feel good.
Okay, so you get your dog's blemishes airbrushed out.
No,
Beckett, I've heard enough. Get out of here.
Well, my dog is like, she's so ugly, she's cute, so like, it's a little different. But I just think that, should they be doing Snapchat? These kids have Snapchat filters nowadays.
Okay, so let me go a little bit deeper. Here's part of the article. It says, Sam Walker, a Brit living in Arizona, shared a photo of her daughter's school photo, priceless, which offers basic retouching, promising to remove blemishes, and premium retouching, which is described as basic plus whitening teeth, evening skin out for blemishes, etc., etc. Is there an age where you just don't even want to talk about that shit? You just take the kid's photo and that's it?
Yeah, elementary school's too young.
Are you making kids self-conscious? I don't know. I'm thinking if I'm 9 years old and I got a big old fucking zit on my face and someone airbrushes it out, I probably, I'm not going to even realize it when I get the pictures back. It's really not going to be a big deal to me if my mom doesn't make a big deal. Keep in mind, again, I know I don't have kids, But I was a kid, so I can't speak on this. If my mom or dad got upset about it, I would react to that when I normally may not react to that. I'm just saying sometimes adults get mad with their adult thoughts and adult thinking, and then they get the kid riled up.
Totally. I see it all the time. Have you ever seen where a kid will fall and scrape his knee and the kid's fine until the parent runs over and was like, oh my God, are you okay? And then that's when the kid starts crying.
I'm against the retouching. I think it's stupid to retouch kids. I think we all know kids look goofy growing up. You get pimples, you have terrible haircuts, you grow fucking long teeth. It gets weird for about 5 to 9 years. That's part of the game. I don't think you should airbrush it. With that said, I'm not offended by it. Go ahead, Vicky.
What I could see is a situation, every year when the yearbooks come out, and we have them in elementary school as well, I could see, at the 5th grade yearbook signing, somebody, if they retouch the photo and the kid has acne, they'll be like, who's that? That's not even you. Where's your zits at?
The older you get, the worse. I mean, I think we all can agree middle schoolers are dicks, right? Can I get an amen on that? Amen. They are the meanest creatures on the planet. 6 to 9th grade, or I don't know what happens to humans, but man, we turn dicks.
Don't you think you find some middle ground in the sense that if someone has like a pimple that's unusual, for that to be, somewhat blended in, but like when they're making the eyes a different color or larger, their nose smaller, their lips bigger, that's when I think it gets too crazy.
Yeah, I'm just a fan of what you see is what you get. That's really how I get down, honestly. I'm not against filters. I'm not against if you want to take out your blind. I don't give a shit. But I like it to be what we're seeing.
Well, that's the good thing about your personality, though. Like, I mean, you're wearing a Dolphins uniform because of the whole, you're like,
because they're gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one more authentic.
Denny's got my house. You're being a smug dick.
But you're comfortable in that, and like that's part of your personality, right? So, there's some people that it's a really, really big deal. Like,
I get it.
I mean, I remember I wasn't as bad as like some of what I hear some kids deal with, but I remember being insecure about a lot of different things. So skin,
dick size.
Never that, but skin, yes.
That one was...
Skin, yes.
I'm sorry, Vicky. I'm sorry this podcast is a little crass sometimes. I know you are our proper educator.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just the I don't know.
But what I always hated is it didn't make any sense to me, because I'm going to date myself here. I go back to the AOL chat rooms, and people used to ask for your picture, and you'd send it, and you'd get these ones that were total glamour shots. That the person doesn't look like this.
Yeah.
My picture on AOL back in the day, I had gone camping. I was wearing a school T-shirt, no makeup, whatever. Because if you're going to still talk to me when I look like this in the picture, at least when you meet me, you're not going to be looking around and going, where is she? I don't see her anywhere.
That's why
it doesn't make any sense to me. If that's not what you look like, why are you putting that out there?
That's why I'm so vocal and against fake butt. I don't like fake butts.
Is that a real thing?
So you go out with
There's Spanx that have padding in the back.
It makes your ass look like an ass you don't own.
Well,
okay, let's say
that's messed up.
Let's say I go. You
Would
go,
you be hurt?
You go on a date, Beckett. All right, you are with this fly honey.
Because I'm a butt guy. I'm not a boob guy. I'm a butt guy.
All right. So let me paint the scenario for you. You're out. You're going bowling. She's bending over. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm really attracted to this woman. I love her butt. I mean, we all have primal needs. Mm-hmm. You like the butt. Mm-hmm. So you get back to the crib, and all of a sudden you guys are getting busy. And she goes, Becky, I have something to tell you. This is not my real ass. I've got these fake rubbery chicken cutlets things on here, and my ass is a flapjack booty. Wouldn't you rather have gone out with the flapjack booty than the fake ass? I don't want a fake ass. I want to know what I'm dealing with. If you have a bony ass, let me just see your bony ass. Can I get a fucking amen?
Amen.
Yeah, I'm definitely not into it. But that said, I'm okay with a push-up bra. A push-up bra is fine.
That's different, Beckett.
That's different. You're taking what you have and pushing it in the right
Get 'em,
direction.
Becky.
Mashing it.
Totally different than a padded bra.
Respect the game, Beckett.
Yeah. So the butt goes from...
It's a fake ass.
Does it go from great to good or great to really bad?
It goes from this is not my ass anymore. You thought you had this, and you don't. And I'm not downing you. If you have a bony ass, I like a bony ass. I like a big ass. I like ass.
He's just saying, what quality does it drop to?
I'm just saying you can't fake the funk to a point where
I
you're
agree.
getting to meet somebody and you're going to come at me on the first couple times with a fake ass.
Living a
I
double life.
We're living a double life, Denny.
a double life.
How would you keep that up?
Yeah,
You
that's
can't.
true.
That'd be like me living with a fake beard. And I did. I lived with a fake beard I was dying it. I was living a double life.
So how do you feel about girls wearing makeup? Do you think like that's false advertising? Because
No.
no.
They're not adding a different nose. I mean, yeah, they might be contouring it to make it look thinner if you're like high level makeup person or whatever.
Vicky,
but
can you
it's
school
still
fucking bitch boy?
Yeah, I know. We'll talk.
But jeans aren't spanked and they're not padding. But certain jeans can make a girl's butt look a lot better than it is.
Yeah, I own a couple pairs
That
of
is
those.
different, Beckett.
I agree, it's definite.
It's totally different.
I totally agree.
You need another shot of whiskey. Here we
I
go.
agree, yeah.
Let's do this. It's the Halloween podcast.
Halloween.
It's 8 o'clock at night. We should be in bed. We still have to cut a voiceover, Vicky.
Yeah, I know.
I know. You sound so pumped.
I'm excited.
Do you want a shot of whiskey, Vicky?
No, I had some Chardonnay.
You're acting like you have to teach kids tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what?
I get up at 5. Oh, yeah, I'll take a refill.
Oh, do you get up at 5? Oh, is that early for you, Vicky?
Oh, I know what time. I know what time you get up because I saw it on the video. Okay, I realize that you get up earlier than I do.
I'm
Okay.
totally kidding. We're a little loose here tonight, the Weird Whatever podcast. We again apologize for the technical difficulties. I do want to say this though. We've got roughly 50 people listening the whole time tonight and watching. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We're not ending the podcast yet, but I do want to say thank you. It was frustrating on our level, but I know it's frustrating on yours, and we appreciate that. Denny's thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, no, I'm digging it. I'm absorbing it all.
Oh, I love
Talking about makeup on kids or whatever.
Yeah, so yeah, what's the debate about the makeup? Are you not supposed to put makeup on kids, Vicky?
I don't like. I hate like my daughter. She cheered for one of the local, cheering organizations, and in their organization, you were not allowed to wear makeup. And
Do you like that as a woman, where people say you can't do that because?
Well, they were kids, so they shouldn't have been wearing makeup. And they'd go to these competitions, and these little 6-year-olds have bright red lipstick, and they have all this makeup on and stuff. And I was glad that I had chose the right place for her to cheer, because the only thing they did was, have to do their hair, but their faces were their faces.
You just made me think of the chat room / question of the day. Now, when the video is done and it populates, please wait to put your comment and answer on the comment section after the video is done. Not right now in the chat room, but I do want to say, I love this question. Thank you, Vicky. Does makeup mean sexualizing somebody? Because the way you make it sound like you're like, makeup, I don't want my kid wearing it at that young of an age. I feel like it's a little kind of naughty.
It was freaky looking.
Okay. Does makeup on kids, does that equal sexualizing them? Does makeup mean sexualizing, or is it just a accessory? I'd like to hear your opinion on that, because makeup is one of those things where we don't get a lot of comments about it, but I do see a lot of extraordinarily so left-wing publications tackle that, where they're like, makeup, it sexualizes, it brings women down as a fucking, like that kind of thing. So I'd like to get people's thoughts. How prevalent is that? Makeup, sexualizing people or not? Or just a appetizer for the face? That sounded creepy. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Clearly I don't have makeup or kids.
But men on TV and theater, they wear makeup.
Yeah,
So
actually,
so
anyone
women.
who's on camera.
Yeah.
With the exception of
TV
us.
makeup is heavy. It's almost
yeah.
like clown makeup. You
Now,
know?
there's a difference between TV anchor makeup, where you're trying to just get the color right, to where you are doing cat eyes and big lips, big boy.
Well, I never thought why is it necessary when you're cheering? I don't get, because we're not talking about the, like what you're kind of cheering that you've been doing lately. We're talking about the competitive cheerleading where, you're doing the stunts and you're doing all that. I don't see why you have to have makeup on a 5-year-old.
Can I throw this
to do
at
that.
you? Just to play devil's advocate here. You are doing something oh so visual when you're cheerleading. the whole thing is getting eyeballs.
That's the whole point.
It's about vibrant colors, big movements, loud cheers. Could you argue that putting makeup on a kid is just saying, look, we're trying to showcase this a little bit with some more pizzazz on a visual level? I'm just throwing that at you as a devil's advocate.
Well, they used to win every single competition they were in not wearing makeup.
Damn!
Just saying.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, Vicky just dropped the mic.
Just saying. They didn't need it because they put it in their show, not on their face.
I'd love to hear everyone's comment on this. I think we're going to get a lot of mixed comments on this. I love it because I personally, I come from a time, a family where, man, we were just goofy motherfuckers. We weren't trying to sexualize anything. My sisters would dress me up in drag, put me up in makeup, then be in makeup. We're 8, 9, 10. Nothing was sexual about it. And I think, again, we get to a certain age as humans where we think with our adult brain. And a lot of kids don't.
You stumbled on that.
Yeah, it almost sounded like you were gonna say something different.
Say what? Adult what?
I mean, I think we all know.
Yeah.
No, what? I didn't hear. Adult what? Oh, no. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Me and Becky have been going toe-to-toe with whiskey. Come
That's
on. Trying to keep this train on track here. Let us know down in the comment section.
Well, actually, I think the more
Becky,
taboo,
we're
the more
wrapping up. No, I'm just kidding.
the more taboo you make something, it makes it sexual.
It gives it power.
Right. Like if you grow up living in a burqa where only your eyes are showing, then ankle becomes sexual, right? Because it's taboo. Like it's not part of the culture to see that. Where you grew up in drag, so like that.
I did not say I grew up in drag, Becky. I just said my sister would dress me up as a woman, as an independent woman. Thank you very much.
And look at you now.
I'm an independent woman. I'm a strong independent woman. Let me just go ahead and tell you that. You're right. My sisters and mom raised me very well.
But you're confident, and that was kind of going back to my earlier point. You're confident, and you don't find it sexual, and you're secure in wearing a Dolphins cheerleader outfit until they win. And that's cool. I think that's awesome.
I appreciate you continuously setting up the bit. Thank you. Denny's, you have a kid. Makeup. You have a sweet little girl named Rennie's.
Rennie's.
Jen, you're cool with that, right? All right, love it.
I like it.
Well, I would just go by my own experience. When I was in middle school, that's when I started noticing that girls started wearing makeup. So I think that's kind of the phase that they probably get into it. So I'd say no through elementary school.
Okay, Denny's is old school. No makeup for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point for.
You think it is sexualizing a bit?
Well, it's attention grabbing, and kids don't necessarily need to grab attention for physical appearance. I think more so when they're young. I think it's more about just learning.
So your stance is it's not maybe sexualizing, but it's attention grabbing, and you don't want so many eyeballs on your child.
Yeah, well, so I think for a lot of people, it's probably not sexual. I think for a majority of people, and I think there's a small demo, I'm sure, of perversion that does find it. So why even put it out there and entice it?
Audience, makeup sexualizing or no? Wow, okay. Interesting to hear the comments on this one.
So do you guys think that ear piercing and makeup should happen at the exact same time or different times?
So here's my thing about ear piercing, and I know I'm going to get a lot of comments because A, I'm a man, B, I don't have kids, and C, I've never pierced my ear. But I have pierced my belly button. That's a true fact. I think
It's all going to a theme.
I think when you pierce a baby's ears, you are doing that strictly for the mom and the dad. That the kid doesn't want
It has
fucking.
no say.
Why would the kid want a fucking javelin through its earlobe? They don't want that. Yeah,
Why would a kid want his foreskin cut off? Like we don't.
I'm glad.
Me
my
too.
foreskin is
I'm too.
I'm not trying to be controversial.
For health reasons.
I would just play.
Thank you, Vicky.
I was just playing devil's advocate.
But I've said this before on the KVJ show, and I get so much shit from these moms, and I think they can't handle it. You get your baby's ear pierced because you personally think it looks cute and adorable. Your baby doesn't give a flying fuck if its ear is pierced.
Totally.
It's all about the adult. I'm not a fan of that, but what I always get back when I talk about this, well, what you're doing is you're getting that hole ready for when they're older. That sounded terrible.
Well, it must have been the worst sentence.
That was the worst.
But yeah,
sentence.
you're prepping them for the future.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm talking
okay.
earlobes, by the way. Oh my God. You know what I mean, Vicky. Please clean this up for me.
No, but I will back you up on that. I didn't pierce my daughter's ears until she was old enough to figure out whether she wanted it or not.
Yeah.
And she was like in middle school, and she got her ears pierced, and her daddy was upset. She let him close back up, and then as soon as he turned his back, she went and had him done again.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate. I don't think you're a horrible parent or a horrible person if you get your kids' ears pierced. I think it's I get why you're doing it, but just be honest with yourself. You're not doing it for your kid. You're doing it for you because it looks cute.
Yeah. And I was like 7 or 8, but back then my mom was so paranoid I couldn't go to like piercing pagoda or anything. She took me to a medical doctor and he did my ears.
People get so pissed when I have that stance. It's no, my 9-minute-old baby wanted earrings. No, what? I know 9-minute babies don't get earrings. Don't email me. Oh, I think it might be time for a little impromptu Halloween story. Who has gone thus far? Beckett, have you gone?
I've gone. I was first to go.
Denny, have you gone?
I have gone.
Denny's went.
Oh, Vicky. Impromptu ghost story.
And she's in character.
Oh, and she's so mad. I can feel the heat coming from her eyeball.
Yeah, because I thought you were actually going to forget this bit.
No, I got.
And I didn't cheat. I didn't even prepare something ahead of
Good.
time.
So
'cause I thought
again-
you'd forget.
Again, if it sucks, no one's gonna judge you on this. Well, I mean,
Yeah, they will.
A few people will. I'm not gonna lie. A couple of them in this room. Denny's very judgmental.
Yeah,
But
the people
okay.
not wearing a costume, are they the ones going to judge me?
I thought you said wear a custom, so I wore my custom. I misheard it.
His custom shirt. He wears that shirt every day.
Yeah, it's custom.
All right, Vicky. Without thinking, 3, 2, 1, go.
It was a dark and stormy Halloween night, and we all set out for trick-or-treating. And we noticed that there was a shadow behind us, but we just kept going because, we wanted candy. And we kept going till we got to the very last house on the block. We knocked on the door, and the shadow was in front of us. What do you want? The shadow asked. We're just here for candy. That's all we want. Go back from whence you came. We turned around and started heading for the gate, and the shadow was in front of us again. And we ran back to the house, and that's how we spent Halloween eternally.
The end scene. Yes.
That was the best one.
Yeah.
Vicky.
Vicky. That was the best one
It
yet.
is Halloween. You are listening to the Halloween Weird and Whatever podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, I have to speak up here. I think that the people who didn't wear a costume have to do something next show.
Oh, I like it, Vicky.
All right.
I
I
like
think
it.
they need to, maybe Beckett wants to explore his feminine side. He wants to come and drag.
No, how about this?
What if I wore a Dolphins cheerleader outfit?
What if we did this? We get a sleeping bag. It's big. It's big, but not that big. You and Denny's get in the sleeping bag together. You guys got a minute to
I think
take
you've
off.
had too much whiskey.
You guys have a minute to take each other's clothes off and change. So if Beckett's wearing his Danny Zuko grease shirt, Denny's has to somehow put it on. You guys have to strip down and change each other's clothes in the sleeping bag.
I think I'd rather wear a Miami Dolphins cheerleader outfit.
I can sense your uncomfortableness.
I'll do it. I actually think we could probably wear the same clothes actually.
Yeah.
No, okay, now we're definitely getting you guys in a sleeping bag because I can feel the uncomfortableness from Beckett.
What ask Denny's. How does he feel about it?
Denny,
Well,
say,
I do think we would probably fit in the same clothes. I kind of like that shirt.
I don't know.
too.
I kind of like that custom shirt.
Yeah.
all right, good. I can't wait to see how this. I can't wait to see it turns out, guys. We're all very excited for this. We're all very excited. One thing I did want to turn very positive. It's something I want to add each week. I'm trying to get into meditation again. Do you guys ever do meditation?
Tried. Hardest thing I've ever done.
It's very hard. It's very hard. I think in the beginning stages, it's more of you just trying to get grounded and getting used to trying to calm your mind, trying to specifically think about things you need to work on with yourself. Mm-hmm. But I really do think that there is a benefit to it once you get into it. It's kind of like working out. the first 3 weeks are going to suck. You're not going to see a difference. By week 8 or 9, like, holy shit, I'm seeing some difference. I really do believe in meditation. I fall off of it because it is time consuming. You got to be really on point. If you drink, if you smoke weed, if you do anything, the next day you still have to be on point and do that, and it can be tough if, you know.
I'm going to take you to a float tank. Have you ever done a float tank? Have we talked about this on the podcast? The sensory deprivation?
We have.
Yeah, 100%. That's almost like meditation on training wheels.
And another thing, too, I'd like to get the people, their opinion on this. What are you blessed for this week? Even if you're having the shittiest week right now, I want to try to train our minds into thinking of something positive, even when things are shitty. Because things can be shitty for a lot of people out there. And I think sometimes you have to consciously try to find something that is a blessing in your life. And there are blessings in our lives. I really do. Whether you're a religious person or not, don't take the word blessing as a religious term, please. Take it as something that is going on in your life. Even if you had the shittiest week in your life, what is that one thing would you say is blessing? And I want it to be specific to that week. For example, Vicky can't say, I am blessed for my daughter, Lindsley. We know you're blessed for her. I want a specific thing in your week that's happened. And I want to do that regularly just to kind of keep on the positive. Yeah, bring it.
I am blessed because I have 2 brand new administrators, a new principal and assistant principal. And in my current position, I kind of have a supervisory thing where I oversee my entire department. And the assistant principal came to me and asked me to go to a district meeting with her, one that I have been excluded from all these years that I've held this position. So it is a blessing for someone to come to me and give me the credit for the knowledge that I have in my current position and to want to share more knowledge with me to further myself.
Can I get a Vicky?
Vicky.
I love it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what this segment is about. Trying to just peel out those moments in your week. Because we'll be doing the podcast on Wednesday. We have 48 hours to 72 to come up with something positive. Beckett, what's going on with you? One positive thing going on last 5 days.
I think that, I'm not to be cheesy or cliche. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful.
No.
Come on, I am.
Get the fuck out of my house again.
I am.
No.
Was it something outside of us?
Specific to the week. That's not a pandering bullshit answer. We'll come back to you.
No, go ahead and go. So my dog, I have 2 dogs. I got them at the same time.
Here we go.
And my one dog passed away 6 months ago, and the other one's with me. And I have found a different relationship with my dog in that, I always had the both of them. And not to say it was like any less intimate, whatever, but my dog and me now, like I bring her, like I used to leave them at the house because they had each other. Now I feel bad when I leave her at the house. So I've brought her with me. I bring her to showings. I bring her to open houses. I bring her anytime I can because she's older. She's 13, almost 14 years old. And the energy when I walk home from work and I get to my house and I let her sleep in my bed and like all of that, like and I know that she's on this earth for probably not that much more time. She's in her twilight years. And I think that me having this time with her is a blessing. And I'm excited about it. I'm stoked about it. And it's been a good lesson for me because I've had dogs growing up, but these 2 dogs were the first dogs that I had that were my own. And it's important to me. And I think it's been a blessing. And I actually think this week I've appreciated it way more than usual.
Audience, what do you think?
I'm
Crying. You got people just so soaked with tears.
Your love for canines.
Thanks for clarifying.
Denny, give us your, what are you blessed about, my man?
So yesterday I got to spend the whole day with my wife Jen.
Ow! Who
Very
was in the
nice.
audience?
Was it your anniversary recently? Did I see a post? Was it your anniversary?
Hey, Becky, why don't you call out Denny and some shit he doesn't know in front of his wife? Some more.
I saw an Instagram post. I saw a wedding Instagram post.
Did you see that shit in 018, dog? I don't know. My man looks confused.
I just saw it recently.
He looks confused. He looks shook.
I was grinning because we're a little late on that. It would have been in June, so.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
maybe I just saw the post.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, so I spent the day with her.
You were in a suit.
Oh yeah.
and you guys were
I got all-
kissing.
all-
Maybe I saw it
all
retroactively. Yeah.
Look at hashtag cute suit.
Yeah, so I was blessed about that. I haven't gotten to spend any time with her lately, so it's been very nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. And by the way, that's how you do it, boys. His wife is front and center in the audience.
In the studio
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah, I made pizza
You made pizza? Mm-hmm. Damn.
from Skrizak.
Now you're just getting me all saucy. For me, not to pull on your nuts, Beckett, but the last, I would say, 8 or 9 days, I've been so worried about Chewy. I've taken him to the vet. His poop has not been solid. And it's so weird, just the things in life that you get excited about. The last, I would say, 36 hours, he's had solid poops. And every time I pick up his poop, I visibly and audibly go, yes, you're pooping.
You're stoked.
It really is because much like you, Chewy is an old dog. He's a special needs dog. A lot of people ask me, did we name Chewy? No, he came with that name. But just the fact that he's back on track with his health is very peaceful for me. So that's my blessing for the week. I love it.
it's
I
awesome.
love this segment.
Yeah.
I like it. We're
It's
going to
awesome.
keep it. And if you hate this segment, you're part of the problem, you negative fuck. We're about to wrap it up. I know it's late. I want to make sure we give the people some content. We have been 80 minutes. Oh shit! All right, we gotta wrap it up. We're about to do the ghost video, guys. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for everything. Have a great Halloween. We love you all, and
Bigfoot is real.